Today is the first day of Urban Shield for the fire branch, and at our site here at the Alameda County Fire Department we have two sides of the scenario going. We have a hazardous materials response based set of scenarios, and we also have a cooperative scenario where three teams are working cooperatively on a series of building collapse problems. The challenges that the teams will face will be different based on their discipline. So for the hazardous materials end, for example, they will be dealing with an illicit lab which police officers discovered during the service of a search warrant, and the teams will be faced with a working clandestine methamphetamine lab, but it also has a radiation component which they will discover and they'll have to deal with. The other two are really plume modeling, and what that means is the ability of a team to look at a protracted gas release, not gasoline, but a gaseous state release. In this case, it's chlorine, and they're able to predict and understand what that cloud will do, where it will travel, how hazardous it is, that sort of thing, and they'll be able to project over an operational period who might need to be evacuated or who's in the greatest danger, that sort of thing. And then we also have a scenario where there are chemical samples taken, and through some kinds of wet chemistry or other instrumentation, they're able to identify unknowns, which is something that hazardous materials teams have to do pretty often. Rescue, on that side of the house, there are challenges with breaching concrete and mechanically lifting people out of holes, and we have search canine. We also have technical search cameras that can, and they're very small cameras that can go into small voids, and they're able to look in tiny spaces for possibility of victims that are trapped there. There's heavy lifting where we have to get very large blocks of concrete and that sort of thing either out of the way or off people in order to progress into the pile. And we also have a building collapse prop and a parking structure collapse prop that was much like the Cypress structure in the Loma Prieta earthquake, and we have victims trapped in there. And it really is, I think, really a robust scenario in that there's so many different challenges there that it's difficult, and certainly no one team could handle them. But working together cooperatively, all the teams can get a chance to experience that. The ultimate goal for the fire branch this year for Urban Shield is pretty simple. It's really about communication and thinking. And on the communication part, the idea is that from a regional perspective, teams can come together and get to know each other and figure out what each other's capabilities are. And on the pre-event, as I mentioned, it's really something that we get familiar with our law enforcement partners, and we get familiar with our other fire partners, and from a regional perspective, we can really look at how we can perform. On the other side, the thinking part is the scenarios are constructed for the teams to be able to not only perform a skill, but to come to some conclusions. And so the idea is that the tools that you use are only as good as the people who are thinking through the problem that they're using them on. So the hazmat teams, for example, are going to be asked to synthesize information that they gain and to make decisions. And really, all the tools in the world won't solve the problem unless the people that are using them can think through whatever they're faced with. So that's at the end of the day really what I'm interested in is did we get to meet folks we didn't really know before and get to know what they can do, and then were the teams challenged enough to really use the most complicated tool in the box, which is your brain.